Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about Gilbert Arenas' disaster cast and Sheryl Swoopes claiming Caitlin Clark has not been dominant. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do. So, Sheryl Swoopes was on Disaster Cast, Gilbert Arenas' podcast. That's my name for it. And also, there's another person on it. His name is a former NBA player called Rashad McCants. And he was on that. And they were talking about Caitlin Clark and how well she's been playing. And they talked about some big numbers and said, well, that wasn't it. No one was predicting that. And then they actually went over actual numbers. And Sheryl Swoopes said, which makes no sense, those are hell of a numbers, but that's not dominating. Which, of course, she has been dominating, especially since the Olympic break. And let's keep that in mind, too, Rob. If you took how she's played since the Olympic break, she's 100% been dominating no matter what numbers you look at, or even if you weren't watching. And if you were watching, she's even more dominant than if you weren't watching, because I think she's better than her stats, which is what McCants pointed out. He said, I don't look at the stats. I look at everything. And he talked about all the assists that she could have got if there was missed layups that she's had, and talked about where she passed it to one person who she basically spread the floor, and then the other person passed it to someone else. She got like a hockey assist, but got no credit, and things of that nature. And you can also point out to how much attention she draws to herself. That opens it up for everybody else, and the numbers would all be better. Go ahead, Rob. Say something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he basically says what we say. Use the eye test. Stats are okay. Stats are obvious, but just look at the way she's been playing.
Right. Well, Rob, if you took away that first 9 or 10 games, the numbers are actually pretty extraordinary. And it doesn't matter how well Caitlin Clark played. Sheryl Swoopes was never going to say was she dominated. That's not in her vocabulary. I give her credit for saying those are hell of a numbers. I guess she figured out, well, I got to at least say something, because she was going to get, lambasted either way. But she said that. But that makes no sense. If they're hell of a numbers and she's actually better than her numbers, then she's dominating.
Yeah. She's averaging 25 points and doing this, but that's not dominating. Oh, no. What is it then?
When you're the best passer in the history of women's basketball, when you're a floor general like Caitlin Clark is, and when you play up-tempo offense that the other team can't handle, your numbers are never as good as what you're contributing to the team. She's better in the league than anyone else and making her teammates better. And those aren't going to show up in the stats. And so she's also, Rob, if she didn't have all those obstacles in the beginning that we've talked about several times, the refs have been against her. She didn't get a break. She went straight into that. They had a rough schedule. They had 11 games in 20 days playing almost all the best players. And most importantly, she's been double and triple teamed and guarded for 94 feet, and no one else in the league has been. So imagine if you did that to A'ja Wilson for all 40 games, how her numbers would go down. Yeah, she's been dominant, but if she would cover like Caitlin Clark, would she be that dominating? No, of course not. So let's keep that in mind too.
So, Mark, my question would be to all these doubters or former players, Swoopes, even Gilbert Arenas, I would ask her, so Sheryl, would you have liked to have been playing with Clark on your team?
If she was honest, I know what her answer would be. Yeah. She would love to have Caitlin Clark on her team.
Yeah, of course.
Guess what? Sheryl Swoopes' scoring would go way up, and so would her shooting percentage, because Caitlin Clark would create easy shots for her.
Because she made the layups.
Right. Yeah. And these numbers are comparable to Sheryl Swoopes' MVP years, her second and third time she won it. Sheryl Swoopes' first time she won MVP, the numbers were actually more impressive than their other 2 years. And I'm not taking it away from Sheryl Swoopes. I've stuck up for her ability as a player, because I think she was one of the greatest players of all time, both in college and pros. And she also played better defense than Caitlin Clark. She was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. She's a despicable person. And the hatred and the racism that she has behind her feelings for Caitlin Clark, and in terms of her comments for Caitlin Clark and underrating Caitlin Clark, is disturbing and has no place in the WNBA. And it disturbs me that she's hired by the WNBA to do a podcast, and that she does broadcasting when she can't be objective. So that's what bothers me most about her, Rob.
Yeah, well, I'm just getting to the point, Mark, where I used to be upset, but now I just feel sad for her. I go, she's a very sad lady. I mean, if I was playing pickup, Mark, and I saw Caitlin Clark on the sidelines, and I'm playing with guys. I'm like, I'm picking her, and I would love to as a male or anybody. If you're a basketball player, who would not love to play with Caitlin Clark?
Right. So as we pointed out in another video, she's completely destroyed her own legacy, not in terms of her actual play. I don't think you can ever take that away, but in terms of what people think of her. Before they just thought of her as a great player. Now they think of her as a great player who's a big hater, who's just, an unlikable person and a very immature person.
She's a goof.
And she's in her 50s and she's immature. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about her as a person.
Right.
And I wouldn't even have found out about what happened with the Loyal Marymount when she was coach there about her abuse to the players if this hadn't come up, because I didn't follow it that closely. I didn't know.
Oh,
now
you didn't know about
that.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, yeah.
I didn't know about that before this season started. No, I didn't know
really?
No.
Huh, I knew about it.
I had no feelings about her personality before this at all. Sheryl Swoopes, she seemed like just a great player that didn't say much. She wasn't in the news. She just played and didn't say too much.
So is it surprising to you that you finally found out that she's actually acting this way, or these things happened?
I'm shocked at how bad she is, Rob, in terms of her behavior and what she says about Caitlin Clark. I find it very disturbing, and I feel sorry for her in the sense that I think she has mental issues. I think it's more than the fact that she's immature and jealous and envious of Caitlin Clark. I think there's something else going on there for whatever reason. She's very bitter about everything. I know they didn't make a lot of money back then. I get it, but it's not Caitlin Clark's fault.
Right.
And so I think there's something else going on there. And this is not going to end, Rob. She's going to continue to say dumb things that underrate Caitlin Clark and trying to minimize her abilities because she's jealous and envious of her. And that's not going away. It's probably going to happen until the day Sheryl Swoopes dies or Caitlin Clark retires. And she shouldn't have a platform to do this, but the WNBA is a despicable league and gave her a platform in a sense that she gave her the podcast that they're paying for. It's WNBA podcast. And they let her on to do broadcasting. Now, when they gave her the broadcasting job, she didn't know how bad she was, I think. So, but now they know.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't do the last game.
Yeah, we'll see if they have a future where they get their act together and finally fire Sheryl Swoopes.
I doubt it. I doubt it very much.
I think anybody who's an MVP candidate in the top four, which I think clearly Caitlin Clark is dominating in some sense compared to other players. And there's only 144 players. If you're one of the four best, you're dominating in that sense. That's the way I look at it.
That makes sense. Makes too much sense.
and I think she's dominating in ways that nobody else is dominating, and that's the way you have to look at this. I think, to be fair to Caitlin Clark's play, and her style of play, and her type of play.
Right.
And I think that's what McCants was pointing out. And I think it was I'm glad that they, like the first time she was on, Rob, they swallowed the whistle basically when she had those three facts that were wrong. Gilbert Arenas just allowed Sheryl Swoopes the first time to get away with all those inaccurate things. Oh, she's not 25 years old. He didn't say that. He didn't challenge her in the fact that she played 5 seasons when she only played 4, and didn't challenge the fact of 40 shots a game. He didn't do his research either. She didn't do her research, and yet they have a podcast where they're supposedly talking intelligently about basketball, which isn't going to happen on that program. But at least McCants talked intelligently this time, Rob. So at least he stood up for Caitlin Clark this time. They didn't the first time where they had all the facts wrong. So that's an improvement.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see what's going on, Rob. We'll see what's in the future. I don't have a lot of confidence. I think this will be in the news every week. Wait till the playoffs come around. She'll blame Caitlin Clark for all the playoff losses. I guarantee it.
Yeah, let's just say, well, I told you so. She wasn't really that dominant.
She wasn't ready for the pressure. She's a rookie, all that kind of stuff. I can't wait to see how Caitlin Clark gets blamed for the playoffs. Not just by her, or all could be blamed on Caitlin Clark, I suspect.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see what happens. Just a sneaking suspicion. I don't know why I'm thinking this, Rob. I can't figure it out, but it's going to happen. All right, so let us know what you think. Make some comments down below. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? We got going for 5,000 subscribers. We only have 4,000. Give me a nice birthday present. Right, Rob?
Yeah, give me like a nice birthday present.
It's a birthday. It's my birthday present.
5,000.
If we can make 5,000 on the day of my birthday, that'd be great. I doubt it's going to happen, but if we can get to 5,000, that'd be great. So please do. And join us tomorrow night for live Mystics versus Fever at 7:30 on Prime Video. And our normal live show is Mondays, except for major holidays, from 6 to 8 Eastern Time. And we'll be covering the playoffs for the Indiana Fever, and those start on Sunday. So join us for those. If you want to donate to this channel, super chat, super thanks down below, and a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.